Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of the NEPERC podcast. I'm Randall Yash, your host, the Director of Technology here at the Northeastern Pennsylvania Industrial Resource Center. And I'm joined today by Zachary Mulhern, who's the Operations Manager at Ashley Machine & Tool. Zach, why don't you say hello?
Thanks for having me, Randy. This is an honor, and I'm excited to be here with you.
Well, I'm really glad for you to come on our first episode, and I just wanted to have a little conversation about what you do and what your company does and what makes manufacturing great in Northeastern Pennsylvania. So can you start off by telling us a bit about yourself and what drew you to manufacturing?
Yeah. So like Randy had said, my name's Zach Mulhern. I'm the operations manager at a company by the name of Ashley Machine & Tool. We're out of West Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and we make airplane parts. So our niche is big and structural.
Sure.
You're never going to see small with what we do.
Right.
20 plus feet in length of aluminum, and it's pretty unique. It's a niche industry, and that's obviously why we got involved with you folks here at NEPERC.
Now, when you say you make airplane parts, do you make airplane parts for commercial planes, for the government? What type of airplane parts would you say that you make there?
So a mix of both.
Okay.
Primarily, I would say 80-90% of our work is commercial. So
Sure.
You ever get on an airplane, there is probably an Ashley part in there.
That's awesome.
And then I would say 10% is probably your government work, your
Right.
hush-hush. I may or may not be able to talk about it.
It's top secret.
Yeah, but it's,
sure.
It's a good mix of both.
That's excellent. So your company has been around since 1945, and as you said, you make aerospace parts, you make things that go in the air, things that fly. What makes your company's work stand out in the industry, right? Like what makes those plane manufacturers come to Ashley Machine & Tool?
It's like a legacy of our company.
Okay.
Being around since 1945, I think that's definitely a little feather in our cap.
For sure. Yeah, that's a long time.
We've been doing it for a while, but really and truly, our quality, our on-time delivery, and then outside of that, there's not many places that do that long structural stuff anymore.
Okay.
Manufacturing has become faster, cleaner, quicker. Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of companies, quote unquote, like ours,
Right.
but their niche is small, lathes, closed casket style machines. Ours is the old style of machining. It's big. It's open profile machines and milling centers. So it's not a dying part of the industry, but it's definitely, if you were to look at it, you'd think more old school than new school.
But still necessary.
No doubt.
Right. So you had mentioned quality.
Mm-hmm. Now,
do you have any certifications to back up that quality? Like AS9100, things of that nature, and how important is that to your business?
Yeah, so we are AS9100D certified. We do that. We're audited annually.
Okay.
1 year is an on-site audit, and the other year is just a lot of the paperwork back and forth, making sure we're documenting. The other piece is we are currently becoming CMMC compliant.
Okay, which is a cybersecurity standard.
Absolutely. And actually gained help with that through you folks. And companies like Site2, some other local entities, and that is so we can continue to be competitive in government work.
Yeah, we have a wonderful partnership with Site2. As you know, they're a great group of people, and they kind of help out when manufacturers need assistance in either cybersecurity or managed IT services.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you're currently the operations manager at Ashley. Walk us through that path. Like how did you get from where you started off there to where you ended up today?
Yeah, so I'm, and the only reason I tell this part of my story is because manufacturing is unique.
It is.
And I went to school to be a dentist.
Really?
I did.
I did not know that.
And then
you do have really nice teeth. So now it makes sense. Yeah.
I decided about 3 years into college, I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
So then I was going to be a nurse.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Temple University and then transferred home to Dallas and went to Misericordia and finished up there. So I got through nursing and then decided my senior year of nursing that, I kind of like numbers and I might want to do some business stuff.
Sure.
And then it kind of fell into my lap. My dad being at Ashley was definitely a driving force, but growing up, my dad did not want to push me in that direction.
Right.
And when I was afforded the opportunity at Ashley, it's kind of when I fell in love with manufacturing and not only what we do, but manufacturing as a whole. I started there as the materials manager, and I know that we've talked about it before, but my primary role was pretty much onboarding, offboarding of raw materials, not from a quality side, but more quantity, invoicing, AP stuff, and then scheduling machining centers.
Right.
So here's how much we're going to make. Here's when we're going to make it. Here's who's going to run it, so on and so forth. As time went on, I started to get really interested in how companies run.
Okay.
And got deeper into the numbers and the employees and overhead hours, labor, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of graduated into my role over time.
Right, because the cost to make something is more than just the sum of its raw materials. And that was kind of the side that you got attracted to, I would assume.
Most definitely. It started first and foremost as like that crawling, like, hey, what are we making? What is this it's made out of?
Right.
How are we doing this? And then, I mean, it took me a solid 3 or 4 years of being there every day. And not that we ran the same parts every day, but
right.
I mean, that's what's so unique about manufacturing to me is like you can watch the same thing happen day in and day out and learn something new.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's nice, right? Because you never fall into that routine of, I go to work and I do the same 5 things every day. It kind of gives you that opportunity to kind of experience new things and keep things fresh.
No doubt.
Yeah. So you've been in there for how long now?
This is my 8th year.
Your 8th year? Okay. So when you first started there, like what were some of your biggest hurdles, transitioning from your previous career of, wanting to be a dentist and then going into nursing?
Yeah.
What made that transition into your current role or your role when you started there as materials manager difficult?
I say this all the time, and I press it because it is such a lost skill in our society is soft skills and
Sure.
interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
Coming in, I mean, I was on a different footing because I had daddy's boy slapped across my forehead. So I definitely had to tread water for a while.
Right.
But in terms of this industry, communication is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Computers can do a lot. Everyone knows Microsoft and email, and I know we're going to talk more about the tech advances in this industry in general, but being able to shake somebody's hand, ask how their day is going, what's going on, and understanding and problem solving together, I think I'm at the tail end of that generation where like interpersonal skills were starting to be lost.
Right. Yeah.
So learning how to get out and ask questions and be personable and be part of a team was definitely a really unique and rewarding experience for me.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. We definitely kind of see that across the industry, even here at NEPERC with what we do. One of our, largest vessels that we use to aid small to medium-sized manufacturers is leadership. Just giving people those personal skills, those soft skills, those essentials that they need to kind of build those interpersonal relationships and ultimately keep your workforce happy.
No doubt.
Because the cost to onboard new employees is extremely high, as I'm sure you know. So building those relationships that build, those connections that make people want to stay and have almost like some skin in the game, if you will, within your company, I think is huge.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting to like hear you bring that up, which kind of echoes what we hear across the industry. So how long have you been the operations manager there now?
About a year.
About a year. Okay. And what does that job actually look like behind the scenes? Like if someone, is, fresh out of school, and they kind of want to, make this one of their career paths and they say, I really want to get into manufacturing. What does your day-to-day look like?
So as an operations manager, my role might fit, I'll call it a Fortune 500 or a larger scale companies. It might not fit like a glove.
How many employees do you have?
We're 50.
50 employees? Okay.
Yeah. So we're family owned. So I always joke and say I'm HR, I'm the controller, I'm this, that.
You wear a few hats.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you have to in a small organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love it. In terms of being an operations manager and what I feel the role kind of entails on a daily basis is truly dealing with customers a lot.
Right.
It's a big part of my job, ensuring that we're meeting due dates, deadlines, so on and so forth. And then aerospace is really unique because I always thought that like a due date was just firm. Like, okay, hey, we just have to have it done by then.
Right.
Little did I know that our parts get processed out in the Midwest. So not only do I have a deadline for when it needs to come off the machine, I have a deadline of when it needs to go to processing. They have lead times. I need to make sure that that truck is en route back to us in the right time frame. Then we have to inspect them,
Sure.
leave room for error in case there's touch up, so on and so forth. And then finally, at some point, they can go out to customer. So
That's exciting, right?
yeah, there's a lot of logistics and things of that nature behind it. I would call it supply chain skills.
Okay. Because when you say that you send them out to process,
Yes.
right, that gets done through another company before it actually ends up at the customer.
Correct.
So then you also have to deal with things like, transportation being an issue, I would assume,
No doubt.
with delays, albeit with traffic or weather,
Yeah.
like those unknown unknowns, we'll call them, so that's a lot to juggle.
Those are the things that, and then again, talking about technology, there's the personal skill in these type of jobs.
Sure.
Because my computer's not going to tell me that, hey, this truck might blow a wheel out and
Exactly.
your freight's going to be a week behind schedule.
Right.
So there's a large learning curve there in accounting for situations like that.
Do you factor those in?
We
somehow?
do,
Okay.
as best we can, like
Right.
any company. If I could have everything sitting and waiting on the shelf a month prior to, I think I need a raise. But
Sure.
it's
Well, I would agree with that.
to the best of our ability. And honestly, outside of that, operations manager, I feel I'm the voice between the floor and our accounting group, because
Right.
really and truly, and it's what the dream team here at NEPERC has allowed for me to realize, is that manufacturing is a melting pot of many careers.
It is. Yes. To your point, we actually just had a booth at King's College Computer Information Systems Career Day. And I was there to promote, manufacturing, but also talk to ITIS students a little bit about how that career looks in manufacturing. And, I was shocked at how many people were looking for places in like data centers or, network operation centers, and never really considered that, IT and especially things like cybersecurity is so integral to the 931 manufacturers in our 11 counties.
Yeah.
So kind of like shedding that light and like making them realize that there's a lot of opportunity here, even in your role, was kind of neat and interesting to see how they responded to that.
Absolutely.
So, and you brought up being a Dream Team ambassador, and you spent time talking with students about careers and kind of promoting manufacturing and make it seem more positive and not, you come home covered in dirt and mud and it's dangerous. What's like one common misconception you hear from them about like manufacturing in the field?
Honestly, what you just hit home on, and then the other one that drives me actually insane, and this hits home, like it hits
Sure.
me right in the chest, is that all of these tech schools and people that go into manufacturing are like the black sheep of high school. Like,
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like,
that's how it was when I was growing up as well.
yeah, it's well, these guys are, he's going to tech. He's got problems going on. Well, no, that's actually
A pretty
the
smart
furthest thing
career
from-
choice. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially in this area.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I wish I knew for a plumber to show up at my door, it's probably $200 before they even put anything in.
It is.
So
Yes.
on and so forth.
Yes.
So these trade schools are
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. No, I just have a buddy who's a pipe fitter, and he makes a really good salary, makes a really good career. I just had my my HVAC system needed service. It was $175 just for them to come out to my house.
Yep.
Before they even told me what was wrong, before they did any labor, that was just for him to come out to my house. So, to your point, these jobs do pay, and they pay well, and it's a needed resource, and a wise man once said, in terms of like the newer technology with like AI and automation, if you have a job where your output is purely digital, those are the ones that are a little bit more, can be assisted by AI. But if your output is physical, it's really hard to have something, come in and kind of change that path.
No doubt.
So I think that, educating the youth and making sure that workforce is there that still make physical goods is paramount.
No doubt.
Workforce, I think, is a pain point for a lot of small to medium-sized manufacturers, especially because when you deal with something as niche or as special as what Ashley Machine and Tool does, that's a unique skill set. You make a unique part, and there's a reason why these big companies come to you. You know, so once you train someone up and get them trained, you also want to retain that talent and find talent that can replace them if and when the time comes, or if you grow and need to kind of hire more people, which, you know, leads me to my next point. We had a little bit of a topic, a conversation off the record before we started this podcast, but you're actually expanding. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to talk a little bit about that if you can?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been lucky enough, and I could say this on here, Boeing decided once they started to struggle a little bit with suppliers, that they would just go out and buy them. So a company that we did business with for way before my tenure there, I would venture to say 12 to 15 years.
Right.
And I could say this, it's public knowledge. GCAN Aerospace, they were stationed out of South Carolina.
Okay.
Boeing went in and bought them.
And what did GCAN do? Because that's kind of a less common name.
Yeah, so this would probably help to learn Ashley Machine and Tool a little bit.
Sure.
A lot of our work is not tier one. So we are not, it's becoming that way, but for a very long time, we were not a tier one supplier of Boeing. There's usually an intermediary between the two of us.
So you're more like a subprime supplier.
Exactly. So an assembly house would get an engine, a wing, a fuselage, a tail, a nose, and they send bid proposals out to company X, Y, and Z. And then we end up building for that intermediary company, or what we call in our industry an assembly house.
Gotcha.
So most of our work is actually for a company out of Stuart, Florida, by the name of DeHare Aerospace, and they build the fuselage, so the center section for the Boeing 767.
And for those who may not know, the fuselage is like where people sit.
Yep, so. Exactly. For a very long time, our largest billet of work was for UPS and FedEx. So not directly.
Wow. Sure.
But the 767 is actually, they call it the 767 freighter.
Sure.
Because it was the aircraft that UPS, FedEx, DHL, all these other carriers.
And you helped supply parts for them?
Lots of them.
So indirectly, you could say that Ashley Machine and Tool is responsible for people getting their FedEx packages on time. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's a correct statement.
We're just not liable for how late they come, but
but that is really cool. That's a really cool piece of knowledge. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I honestly didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know a little tangent, but the moral of that all, with the addition here, is we do work for, ironically, Subaru. So the car manufacturer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lo and behold, they also build airplanes.
Didn't know that.
Nor did I until I walked in the door. They do it over in Japan.
Okay.
And we have some contracts doing some stuff for the wing sections of some Boeing aircraft. And thankfully, Boeing's getting very busy again. So we were kind of at that pivot point of, what do? We don't have enough labor hours out here on the floor, so we needed to add another machining center. That led to this addition. Will be about 2 buildings, but to your point, then becomes, well, who's going to run this machining
workforce,
center?
right?
Exactly.
The same problem everyone has.
Absolutely.
So do you have any plans in mind for that? Do you plan on hiring from outside the industry? Do you plan on promoting from within? A little of both?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We've been very, very lucky in the last few months of our hiring process. We have we onboarded 4 new machine operators.
Oh, wow.
So we are able to, when the time comes, bid out a position. We're a union shop. So
well, that's excellent. That's excellent. So it sounds like you do a lot of custom work, and you have some customers that I didn't even realize made airplanes.
Yeah.
Is there a specific part or process that your company makes, or that you've kind of had a hand in, that you're particularly proud of?
Honestly, like I said, my biggest piece of the pie here, and where I'm most proud, is my work between the numbers and the physical. We're an older company. A lot of our employees have been there 30, 40 years. A lot of it's become, we've always done it this way, so let's just not change it.
Yeah.
So as we come into the new style of machining, and like I said, closed style machines, chip vacs, a lot cleaner of a workspace. There's also a lot of pneumatics and robotics and things to make this process easier. Mm-hmm. And it's been a big pushback. So I've appreciated being able to sit in between what's affordable, unaffordable for us as a company, what makes sense long-term, what doesn't make sense, the engineering, the day-to-day of how we're making these parts. My involvement is nudging people in the right direction.
Gotcha.
What type of work we want to bring in. But in terms of programming and making fixturing, I'm definitely not your guy.
Yeah, I understand that. But you did mention, newer technologies, like albeit robots or cobots or Internet of Things sensors or AI. Has your company thought of exploring, or have they explored anything, with what would be called Industry 4.0?
I'm very excited to start exploring AI.
Okay.
So CMMC has not made that difficult, but when AI a couple months ago really started to hit public markets and become a real thing,
Sure.
They backed off. And the only reason being is, especially with government work, some proprietary stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't know where this information would feed, how
offset to servers that you don't know where they are.
Exactly.
So I would imagine that in your line of work, probably a local model would be something that would be a benefit, something that stays within Ashley Machine and Tool on those servers and stuff. And
absolutely.
Makes like a custom almost assistant for you.
No doubt. I've actually already heard examples from a local company to us and our neighboring counties that have used it a bit.
Sure.
And they said how amazing it was and unique it was, because as you go from material to material, the AI will remember, okay, well, you decided this cutter worked best when you ran this job. It'll suggest that, and tool pathing. And so it's not that it took someone's job, it just made them
more efficient, right?
Exactly.
That's a common misconception, right? Is like AI is just like having another person with a really good brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there to replace you. It's not there to make you obsolete. It's there to make you more efficient, which in turn frees up your time to do things that you would otherwise have had to waste time on.
No doubt.
A really good example is one of our small to medium-sized manufacturers who we service here was exploring AI for their machine maintenance, because one thing that they have noticed is, we need to reduce downtime, obviously, as does everyone.
Yep.
And you have a lot of maybe old maintenance managers or maintenance engineers who just have a lot of cardinal knowledge of fixing an old machine, So they were exploring building an AI model that was trained on their instruction manuals for the machines, and then having their older maintenance managers try to also feed it the cardinal knowledge of what to do when this happens, what to do when the machine throws a red light, what to do when the machine makes this sound, and then when they're not on shift or not there, or they hire new people on, they can kind of just say, hey, my press brake is flashing a yellow green light, what should I do? And then the AI can kind of search those documents or search that cardinal knowledge that was input by the individuals who work there, and hopefully get a better answer to kind of bring that machine back online and running to spec sooner. That's just one thing that I've seen some of our manufacturers in Northeastern PA explore.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I also kind of wanted to touch on, just you personally, what do you enjoy about your job in manufacturing? What does it allow you to do for your, either your leisure time or your family time? What does that flexibility in your field allow you to do?
It's another common misconception too. It's that this is the type of field that there's no vacation and you just show up to work every day and a doldrum. I've seen the polar opposite.
Okay.
I've been afforded a lot of different opportunities, both socially and professionally, because of this field and meeting the NEPERC group, the NEPA Alliance. I've made professional friends. I've been able to do some things professionally and travel and see a little bit of the world because of it. But additionally, I've also met some resources that I've done things with socially.
Right.
Golf. You and I both love to golf.
We do love to golf. That is true. And we are going out soon.
We most definitely are. My job has definitely allowed me and others to take that time that we need. Our shop personally, one of the big, hiring points for us right now is the time we still have off. I know a lot of companies work over Christmas holidays. They don't have 12 paid holidays. I mean, we still honor the big, I call it the Big 12. But
sure. That's a good way to put it.
We honor the Big 12 recognized holidays, as well as during Christmas. We actually shut down for, it depends on how the calendar falls, but our last day of work is always December 23rd.
Oh, wow.
And then we never come back until the 3rd of the new year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't think I've had that schedule since I was in school. So that's really cool.
It allows us to really press the idea that we all have to work.
We do.
We all have to work. We all have to make a living. Why hate what you do?
I agree. You know, and I've always been of the mindset that if you enjoy what you do and you invest in the company, you're going to care about the output you do at that company.
No doubt.
You know, so I think that building that sort of embrace of someone's personal activities in their personal life just makes them a better employee.
No doubt.
So that's really awesome that you do that over there. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, and as you mentioned things that will attract a younger workforce, such as that, you know, what do you think are some of the most important skills for someone entering the field?
Manufacturing in general, I think, I know I touched on it earlier. Soft skills are huge.
Sure.
Openness, willingness. There's a lot of guys in this industry that have that cardinal knowledge that you touched on.
Right.
That need to be, I guess, soaked up is the best way I could put it. I always say that our brains are like sponges.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
How willing we are to soak up that information. But on top of that, I would say that there's a lot of really, really cool and unique career paths being created by a lot of the technical schools around us.
That's awesome.
I know a lot of them have always offered maintenance and HVAC and plumbing, so on and so forth, but degrees in a 2-year associate's in mechatronics, which I'm starting to see a lot. You kind of get the knowledge of running a machine with PLC knowledge. So there you're getting a little bit of electrical. So there's a lot of really, really unique career paths at these technical schools that are allowing kids to walk in the door with a huge advantage. On top of that, you'll see a lot of companies like ourselves who are willing to invest in education, in certifications. I mean, a lot of the guys that we see come in off the street green. I mean, I have guys in our shop that polish parts, which really and truly, I'd say the closest thing is body work.
Okay.
It's with a polish gun, a blending gun, and they're just taking away imperfections or bringing something into spec. But one gentleman was a cashier that walked in and just wanted to change your careers and teach him a trade. Yeah. So it's you could come in with a lot, but those are really a couple of the avenues that I've been seeing.
Yeah, and you know, to your point, you know, it almost sounds like you offer a lot of like opportunities for upskilling.
Yeah,
you know, and do you have any like PDPs, like personal development programs over there? Like if someone wants to, you know, maybe they come in as like a machine operator, but they have bigger aspirations. Is there a path upward for people?
So there definitely is. Again, we're being family owned. There's not a corporate ladder that you can really climb.
Right.
But we have offered, a lot of our former machine operators have ended up being CNC programmers, which is in essence a step up.
Right.
A few of them have gone back to engineering school. What we do with our union is really a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
So if it offers something to not only them, but us as a company, I've invested in people to go back and get educated.
Wow.
I've taken engineers out to California for CATIA training so they can better understand their craft and how to program parts better. Yeah. I'm not big on handwritten agreements. I don't like to tell somebody you're going to work for me for 10 years in order to pay back. A handshake's enough for me.
I like that.
A handshake's enough for me.
And, you know, I know just from our relationship that you've used our services as well for training your workforce too. So,
oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
TPM was the most recent, and it has made light years of difference within our shop.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mark, you know what he does is great. You know, Mark is a font of knowledge, as you will. He's one of those sponges that you kind of talked about. He knows how to like take that information that he's saturated his brain with over the years and kind of put it down into bite-sized bites and, you know, be a real asset to our manufacturers.
And just to touch on that, I mean, when Mark came on for the TPM training, like I said, in the industry, some people get stuck in their ways.
Right.
So we had a nice melting pot of, I don't want to use the word old and young, but seasoned and not seasoned employees. And
veterans and rookies.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Some of the activities he had us do together and some of the folks that I really thought would be turned off or disengaged by it were the ones like up front with Mark smiling and coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a testament to what you folks do, but on top of it, like also feeding into, hey, this this is an exciting industry. It doesn't all need to be clouds and darkness.
Right.
There's a light to be brought into this.
No, that's awesome. That's really great to hear. Thank you for saying that. And any final thoughts to our listeners of why manufacturing is a great career choice in Northeastern PA?
Like I said, it's not only sustainable, but it is a profitable career, I always say this, both spiritually and physically, because money is a temporary motivator.
It is.
I always want to make more money. It's not human to not want more.
Correct.
But you have to like what you do, and you shared on that before. On top of that, I really think a lot of desk jobs, a lot of these computer-driven jobs nowadays, with the cost of healthcare and the ability to work from home, etc., manufacturing offers a lot of the things that people don't really think they do.
True.
I can tell you right now, our folks, I think, contribute $20 a week into their healthcare, and they have a $400 deductible.
That's incredible.
Blue Cross, Blue Shield.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So in terms of affordability for healthcare for a family, I mean,
right.
There is an additive. Our union, we've negotiated, they get almost $4 an hour into their pension paid for by the company. So that's
very generous. Yeah.
There's unique things in there, and I'm not using this just to like plug Ashley. I'm truly.
Oh, by all means. You guys are a great company. So
I appreciate it. In terms of
I'll talk you up if you don't. So
you're a good man. In terms of manufacturing, I mean, these are the things that this career path offers. I have a lot of friends who took different routes, and like I said, they work desk jobs and they love it. But I hear them complain about deductibles and the cost of this and the cost of that, and I feel honestly blessed to be in my company where I don't really have to worry about that. These guys some of them are out there doing the grunt work. So why would they not have good health care? Why would they not be able to provide for their families?
Yeah.
So this industry is something that until you really take a good look at it, it's often pushed to the side. And we don't realize that everything, this table you and I are sitting at, this microphone, these chairs, it's all manufactured. It's made somewhere.
It is. And that's a really good point. It's I think that as the younger generation comes out of school, I see a lot of the attitude of, well, what does this area have to offer me? Literally, you don't even have to unturn a stone to see that manufacturing drives Northeastern PA. And there's a lot of diversity in what types of career paths you can take, because manufacturing is unique in that it probably needs someone who can do anything. I think that a lot of the younger generation, if they're looking for what to do after school, need to actually, go outside and see all of the factories and just learn what exactly is made here and how cool it is.
Oh, no doubt.
So with that, I just wanted to, thank you, Zach, for your time. I really appreciate you coming down here on your busy day. Mm-hmm. So, I just wanted to, kind of give you a shout out, give Ashley Machine and Tool a shout out for, creating the jobs you do in Northeastern PA and making the parts that not only keep people safe on airplanes, but also get our packages to us.
Yep.
So thank you for your time, Zach.
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate you.
Thank you for tuning in to the NEPERC Manufacturing Matters podcast. If you have any questions on the trainings and services NEPERC can offer your business, or would like to be a guest on our podcast, visit neperc.com. That's NEPIRC.com, or shoot an email to info@neperc.com.